The war was over, but the land was broken. Smoke rose from the mountains. The wind carried the smell of fire, ash, and blood. On a high snowy cliff, far from the cities, an old dragon lay still. His scales were white like bones. His wings were torn. Deep wounds covered his body. Blood froze around him. He was an albino dragon, once a legend, now almost forgotten. His name was lost in time. He had fought many wars. He had destroyed armies. He had flown over burning skies. But now, he was dying. The dragon's red eyes were half closed. His breathing was slow. His chest moved only a little. "I am done," he whispered to the cold air. "No more pain. No more war. Let me sleep." He had no family left. No friends. No purpose. He waited for death. But far below, in the valley, a young woman walked alone. She wore a white coat with a red cross. A bag of medical tools hung on her back. Her name was Lena, and she was a medic, was not a fighter. She was a healer. She had seen many wounded humans, aliens, even machines. But today, something pulled her toward the mountains. A sound. It was not a cry, not a roar. It was softer, almost like a sigh. She followed the sound, climbing up broken rocks and ice. Her feet slipped. Her face was cold. But she did not stop. After hours, she reached the top. What she saw made her freeze. A huge body. White scales. Cracked and bloody. A long neck stretched across the snow. Sharp horns. Torn wings. A monster, but not moving. A dragon. Lena took one step forward. Then another. The dragon's eye opened. Just a little. "You're still alive," she said, softly. The dragon growled weakly. "Why are you here, human?" "I heard a sound," she said. "I thought someone needed help." "There is nothing to help," he said. "Leave me. I'm a medic," she replied. "I help anyone who's still breathing." The dragon gave a dry, painful laugh. "Even a beast like me?" Lena nodded. "Yes." The dragon looked at her for a long time. She was small. Her hands were shaking. She looked tired. But she had no fear. He could not remember the last time a human looked at him with kindness. "Do what you want," he said finally. "But I will die soon." "Not today," she said. Lena opened her bag. She cleaned his wounds with warm gel. She used healing foam on his broken skin. She stitched where she could. She used metal clamps to close the worst cuts. The dragon groaned. His body was in pain. But something else was happening. A strange feeling. Something soft. Something like hope. "Why do you care?" he asked. "We are enemies." "Not anymore," Lena said. "The war is over." "Even so, I am a killer." "Maybe," she said. "But right now, you are a patient." The dragon wanted to laugh again, but his chest hurt. He closed his eyes. He expected darkness, but it didn't come. The cold still bit the air. The snow still fell. But beside him, a small human sat. She lit a small heater. She wrapped herself in a blanket, but stayed close. "I'll watch your wounds through the night," she said. "You won't die alone." The dragon didn't speak. He listened to the wind. And to her heartbeat. It was strong, steady, warm. For the first time in many years, the dragon didn't want to die. Not yet. The night was cold and long. The wind howled like a ghost. Snow kept falling, covering the dragon's body again. But Lena stayed awake. She sat beside the dragon, feeding the small heater with fuel. Her face was red from the cold. Her eyes were tired, but she didn't close them. She checked the dragon's wounds again and again. Some had stopped bleeding. Others were still dangerous. The dragon watched her with one eye open. He had never seen anyone like her. "Why don't you sleep?" he asked. "You might need help again," Lena said. "And I don't want you to die while I rest." "You are strange," he said. "Most humans run from me." "I'm not most humans," she replied with a smile. The dragon said nothing, but deep inside, he felt something warm. Not from the heater, but from her words. When morning came, the clouds moved away, and the sun touched the snow with soft golden light. The dragon tried to move his wing. It hurt badly, but it moved a little. Lena saw it. "That's good. You're healing." He shook his head slowly. "Not fast enough. Dragons healed with fire. I have no fire left." Lena blinked. "No fire." He sighed. "My fire is gone. Burned out in war. Without it, my body is slow, cold, weak." "Can fire come back?" she asked. "Only if I have purpose," he answered. "Only if I want to live." Lena stood up and looked around. There was no food, no clean water, no shelter. The mountain was still dangerous. If she wanted to keep him alive, she had to act fast. I'll go find supplies, she said. The dragon growled weakly. Don't. It's not safe. You want to live now, don't you? She asked. He looked at her. Slowly, he nodded. Then I'll be back, Lena said. She climbed down the mountain again, carefully, step by step. Her legs were tired, her hands were cold, but her heart was full of courage. Hours passed. The dragon lay still, alone again. He stared at the sky. She won't come back, he whispered. But deep inside, a spark moved. Meanwhile, Lena found an old supply pod. It had blankets, water, food rations, and some fuel cells. She smiled with relief. Then she heard a sound crunching snow behind her. She turned and saw a group of scavengers, humans armed, angry. They pointed their guns at her. Medic, huh? One of them said. Give us the supplies. I need them to save someone, she said. Save who? A soldier. Lena hesitated. A dragon, they laughed. A dragon. You're helping one of those monsters. He's not a monster. He's hurt. He's changing. We don't care. Give us the supplies, or we take them. Lena looked down. Then, she threw a flash grenade from her bag. Light exploded in their faces. She grabbed the pack and ran. They shouted and followed. But Lena was fast. She climbed, jumped over rocks, slid across the snow. Her legs burned. Her breath was short. But she didn't stop. When she reached the top again, she fell beside the dragon, gasping. You came back, the dragon said, surprised. Of course, Lena said, smiling. He looked at her bag. You brought food, and water, and medicine. Then, he saw her hand. Blood was dripping. You're hurt. It's just a scratch, she said. The dragon felt something inside. It was like a small fire. You risked your life. For me, you're not just a dragon, she said. You're alive? That's enough for me. The dragon closed his eyes. His chest rose with a deep breath, and for the first time in years, he felt a little heat inside his chest. A spark had returned. The sun slowly climbed over the snowy mountains. Light touched the broken stones and warmed the cold ground, just a little. Lena sat near the dragon, heating water with a small flame from her travel cooker. The dragon, still weak, watched her quietly. His body hurt. His wings were stiff. But something had changed. Deep inside, a small fire had started. It was weak, but real. Lena smiled and handed him a warm metal bowl. Here, liquid food. It's not tasty, but it's full of energy. The dragon sniffed it. Smells like boiled metal and tree bark. Just drink it, she said, laughing. Drank slowly. It tasted bad, but he didn't complain. It warmed his chest. Lena checked his wounds. The healing gel was working. New skin had started to grow. The bleeding had stopped. You're getting better, she said. Thanks to you, he replied. She looked at him and asked, What's your name? He was silent for a moment. Then he said, They used to call me Vorthon. Long ago. Vorthon, she repeated softly. A strong name. No one had spoken it in 100 years, he said. I thought it was forgotten. Not anymore, she said. I'll remember it. The dragon looked at her with his red eyes. They weren't cold anymore. They were tired, but softer. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed in the sky. Both of them looked up. A small drone flew past them, blinking red lights. A scout drone, Lena said. It saw us. From the scavengers, Vorthon asked. Maybe, or worse, she said. She packed her supplies quickly. We have to move. If they saw you, they'll come to kill you. I can't walk, Vorthon said. My leg is broken. My wing is weak. I'll help you, Lena said. He looked at her with surprise. How? She walked to his side. Lean on me, he chuckled. I weigh 10 tons. I'll still try. Vorthon tried to move. It was hard. Pain shot through his body, but he gritted his teeth. He pushed one leg forward. His wing dragged behind. Lena held a rope tied to a support brace on his chest, guiding him like a nurse. Slowly, step by step, the great dragon began to walk again. They moved down the rocky path. It took hours. Vorthon stopped many times to rest, but Lena never gave up. She sang small songs to distract him from pain. Songs from Earth, songs of light and peace. You sing like the wind, he told her. You sound like thunder when you talk, she replied. For a moment, they both laughed. By sunset, they reached a hidden cave Lena had seen from above. It was deep, dry, and safe. This will do, she said. We can stay here for a while. Vorthon lay down with a heavy sigh. Thank you. Again Lena placed small lights around the cave. Then she turned and said, "I think your fire is coming back." He looked at her. "I feel it too." He closed his eyes for a moment. Inside his chest, the warmth was real now. Not just from food, not just from healing, but from hope. "Could have let me die," he said. "But I didn't," she answered. "Why?" "Because," she said, "I believe even old dragons can live again, if someone believes in them." Vorthen stared at the ceiling of the cave. The stars outside began to shine. "I believed in death," he said. "Now, I believe in you." And somewhere deep in his throat, a soft rumble began. It was not pain, not anger. It was the first glow of fire. The cave was quiet. Outside, cold wind blew over the mountains. But inside, there was warmth. Lena sat beside a small fire, writing notes in her old datapad. She kept records of Vorthen's health, his wounds, his breath, even his words. The dragon was resting. His body still hurt, but the fire inside him was real now. It was weak, but growing. He opened one red eye, still writing. She smiled. "It helps me think, helps me remember." "Are you a soldier or a doctor?" he asked. "Was never a soldier," she replied. "I fix things. I fix people. Even dragons." Lena looked at him and said softly, "Especially dragons." Vorthen closed his eye again, but a small smile touched his face. Suddenly, a loud boom shook the cave. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lena jumped to her feet. "What was that?" she asked. Vorthen growled, "Explosives. Someone found us." Lena grabbed her bag. "Can you fight?" He stood up slowly. "I don't want to, but I will." Outside the cave, a group of armed soldiers was moving through the snow. They wore black armor and carried heavy weapons. Their helmets had red lights. They were not scavengers. They were hunters trained to kill dragons. The leader raised a hand. "Target is inside. Burn it alive." Lena and Vorthen stood at the cave's entrance. She had only one small blaster. He had old claws and half-dead wings. "They will kill you," Vorthen warned. "They will kill you too," Lena said. He looked at her. "Hide. I'll fight alone." "No," she said firmly. "We fight together." The soldiers opened fire. Bullets hit the rocks around them. Lena fired back, aiming for their feet. She didn't want to kill anyone, only stop them. Vorthen roared. His voice was deep, thunderous. A few soldiers fell back in fear. He stepped forward. His fire had not returned fully, but his rage was hot. Then, something happened. As bullets flew and dust filled the air, Vorthen felt something rise in his throat. A heat, a spark, a pressure. His fire had returned. With a mighty roar, he opened his mouth, and a stream of blue flame shot out. It was not as strong as before, but it was enough. The fire hit the ground in front of the soldiers. It melted snow and metal. The attackers screamed and ran back. Lena watched in awe. "You did it." Vorthen's chest glowed faintly. His body shook, but he was standing tall, strong, alive. But the danger was not over. A hunter fired a missile. It hit the side of the cave. Rocks began to fall. "Run," Lena shouted. They moved fast. The cave shook again. Part of the roof collapsed behind them, sealing the entrance. They escaped to a narrow path between cliffs. Both were breathing hard. The snow was red with dust and fire. "Are you hurt?" Lena asked. "No," Vorthen said, "but I'm tired." They walked to a safer place, a high ridge with trees. Vorthen laid down. "I can't keep running," he said. Lena placed her hand on his rough scales. "Then we make a plan. We fight smarter next time." He looked at her. "You never give up." "I can't," she said. "You didn't give up on living. I won't give up on you." Vorthen stared at the stars. The night was clear. The cold wind touched his wings, but he didn't feel weak anymore. "I was ready to die," he whispered. "But now, I want to live." Lena nodded. "Then we'll find a way." And in that moment, under the silent stars, a bond stronger than fire or blood grew between the old dragon and the human healer, a bond that would soon change everything. The sky turned gray. Clouds covered the sun again. Snow began to fall, slowly, like soft ash. Lena and Vorthen rested under a rocky ledge on a high ridge. Smoke still rose in the distance where the fight had happened. The hunters were not chasing them now, but danger still followed like a shadow. Vorthen lay down with his wings folded tight. His body was tired. His fire had returned, but it was not full. He needed rest. But Lena checked her supplies. Her food packs were low. The water was almost gone. Her small heater was broken. "We need to move soon," she said quietly. Vorthon opened one eye. I'm not ready to fly. You don't need to fly, she said. You just need to survive. She looked out over the snowy valley. There's an old human research station about 10 miles south. Abandoned during the war. Maybe it still has shelter and food. Vorthon nodded slowly. Then we go. They waited for nightfall. Under the cover of darkness, they began the journey. Lena walked ahead with the light on her arm. Vorthon followed behind, leaving deep footprints in the snow. The wind howled around them, but they pushed forward as they moved. Vorthon spoke. Long ago, I burned villages. I destroyed ships. Humans called me a monster. And now, Lena asked. I wonder if I really was one, he said. Or if I was just lost. Lena looked back. You were in pain. Pain makes monsters of us all. He walked in silence for a while. Then he said, You speak like a warrior. I speak like someone who's seen too much death, she replied. They reached the research station just before dawn. The building was half covered in snow. Its walls were cracked, but the front door still opened with a push. Inside, it was dark and dusty, but the lights still worked. Weak, flickering lights, but better than nothing. Lena found a generator and turned it on. She found a water purifier and extra rations. There was even a medical bed too small for a dragon, but useful for gear. This will work, she said. Vorthon settled beside the station, curling his long tail around himself. This is the best shelter I've had in many years. Lena smiled. Welcome home. At least for now. But peace did not last. In the middle of the night, a signal activated on the old station's systems. A red light blinked. SOS detected unauthorized movement. Tracking active. Lena's eyes widened. Oh no, they're still watching. Vorthon raised his head. What is it? This place was marked long ago. If we turn it on, someone hears it. She moved quickly to shut the system down, but it was too late. A signal had already been sent. They'll come again, she said. Vorthon growled. Let them come. No, she said. You're not ready. He looked at her. I won't let them hurt you. Lena stepped closer. And I won't let them take you. They have little time to prepare. She built traps using old wires and leftover tools. Vorthon helped, using his claws to dig out the snow and shape stone walls. Together, they made the broken station into a fortress. Then Lena stopped, walked to him, and placed a hand on his rough cheek. Do you trust me? She asked. With my life, he said. Then fight, not just for survival, she said softly. Fight to live. Fight to protect what you never had before, someone who believes in you. He closed his eyes. His chest burned with heat. His heart beat strong. His wings stretched just a little wider. He was not just healing. He was becoming something new. The night was quiet, but danger was near. Lena sat on the floor inside the research station, checking her blaster's energy level. Only 2 charges left. She looked tired, but her eyes stayed sharp. Outside, the snow had stopped. The moonlight fell on the white scales of the old dragon resting beside the station wall. Vorthon's wounds had almost healed. His skin had new scars. His wings were still weak, but he could now stand tall. His fire was back, not full, but ready. They will come by morning, Lena said. Vorthon growled low. Then I will burn the sky before they touch you. She looked at him with soft eyes. This isn't just your fight anymore. It's ours. Suddenly, a beep sounded on the radar screen Lena had fixed. A red dot blinked fast. Ship detected, she said. A large hunter ship appeared in the sky above the mountains. Black, fast, and deadly. More dangerous than before. They brought everything this time, Vorthon said. And we're only 2, Lena added. He looked down at her. No, we are 1. She smiled. The ship landed nearby. From it came armored soldiers, over 20, fully armed. Their leader wore red armor and carried a long plasma spear. He shouted through a speaker. Give us the dragon, and we let the human live. Lena stepped forward and yelled back. You'll have to go through both of us. The leader laughed. So be it. Then, the battle began. Gunfire broke the silence. Bullets hit the snow, the rocks, the station walls. Vorthon roared and flew up just a little, enough to glide. His shadow passed over the enemy like a ghost. Lena used the traps. Wires snapped and threw 2 soldiers down. Exploding snow mines pushed others back. Vorthon came down fast and breathed blue fire across the snow. It lit the ground like lightning. Soldiers screamed and ran. Some fired back, but the dragon's scales blocked the weaker shots. The leader came forward. His spear glowed. He jumped toward Lena. Vorthon's eyes turned red with fury. He moved fast and slammed his tail across the ground. The leader fell back, just missing a sharp rock. Lena rolled and fired her blaster. One charge hit the leader's shoulder. He screamed and dropped his spear. More enemies ran in. But Vorthen stood over Lena now, like a shield of living flame. You will not touch her. The dragon roared. He rose on his back legs, opened his wings fully for the first time in years, and let out a deep, powerful blast of fire. It filled the sky with light. Every soldier stopped. Some ran. Some dropped weapons. The leader tried to run too, but Vorthen landed in front of him. I once killed for power, he growled. Now, I protect for love. The leader trembled. What are you? I am not a monster, Vorthen said. I am what she made me. And with that, the leader turned and fled with his soldiers. The ship took off and vanished into the clouds. Silence returned. Lena stood beside Vorthen. She looked up at him, her eyes full of joy. You flew. I fought for something real, he replied. You saved me. You saved me first. They stood together under the moonlight. The snow was burned, the sky was clear, and peace had returned. But something bigger had changed. The dragon was no longer lost, and the human was no longer alone. The sun rose slowly over the snowy mountains. The sky was bright and calm, as if the world finally took a breath after a long storm. Vorthen stood on a high cliff beside the old research station. His wings stretched wide. His white scales shone in the sunlight. He looked strong again, not like a dying dragon, but like a protector. Lena stood beside him, holding a small datapad in her hands. She smiled as she looked at him. You healed faster than I expected, she said. I had something to heal for, Vorthen replied. Lena walked to the edge of the cliff and looked down at the valley. No more hunters. No more war. What now? Vorthen took a deep breath. Warm air left his nose. I don't know. For the first time, I am free to choose. Lena sat on a rock and opened her datapad. I've been thinking too. The world is broken, but maybe we can fix small parts of it. Vorthen turned his head toward her. What do you mean? There are other injured creatures, other broken people, old machines, damaged lands, forgotten places, she said. Maybe we help them. Together. The dragon looked at her with bright eyes. You want to turn a dragon into a healer? Lena laughed. You're already part healer. You healed me too, you know. He tilted his head. You were wounded. Not on the outside, she said softly. I lost hope during the war. I saw too much death, too many lies. But then I met you. They both sat in silence for a moment. The wind passed gently over them. Vorthen looked up at the sky. Once, I flew to destroy cities. Now, I wish to fly and see them again, not to burn them, but to understand them. Lena stood up. Then, we traveled. I know places where people live in fear of dragons. Maybe we can change that, by showing them what a dragon and a human can become, Vorthen said. She nodded. Before leaving, Lena walked into the station one last time. She grabbed a small metal badge, the symbol of a medic. She placed it into a pouch, and brought it to Vorthen. This is yours now, she said. Vorthen raised his brow. But I am not human. No, she replied. But you saved a life. That's what medics do. He held the small badge between two claws, carefully. Then I will wear it with pride. They prepared to leave. Lena climbed onto Vorthen's back. His skin was rough, but warm. She tied herself with a safety strap and placed her bag near his shoulder. Are you ready? He asked. Always, she said. With a strong push, Vorthen opened his wings. The wind lifted them. His body rose from the ground. Higher and higher they flew above the trees, over frozen rivers, past broken buildings and forgotten roads. People below looked up and pointed. Some were afraid, but others stared in wonder. A dragon, flying with a human on his back. A strange sight. A hopeful one. As they flew through the clouds, Lena leaned close to Vorthen's ear and whispered, You're not just a legend. You're a beginning. And he whispered back, So are you. They flew into the sunlight, toward a new world. Not as enemies, not as monsters, but as friends. Together, they would bring hope where there was none. Together, they would heal what was broken. And together, they would write a story the galaxy would never forget.